Mr. Will Schneider back with another great episode. Ask Me About My Podcast. We're back in 2022. Going to change it up a little bit this year. Going to get a little bit more on the interview side of things. So excited to have a lot more people on. Like Will had him on last year. Once?
Yeah, once. Yeah,
One time.
Yeah, right.
Which was awesome. Had a great conversation about kind of the real estate market here in Denver, what's going on, what people are doing, how they're doing it. So super excited about doing that again this year. Again, trying to be more focused around the interview side of things, staying less away from the daily uploading, which obviously many people have noticed since it's February 14th and I haven't done a video yet. But yeah, super excited to get back into it. And everybody, Mr. Will Schneider.
Happy Valentine's Day, bro.
Damn, let's go.
Right? Two gingers on Valentine's Day. I knew I had a date tonight.
This
for
is
sure.
It counts.
It counts.
It is 6 o'clock on February 14th.
Dinner reservations were out.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, what time's your dinner reservation?
Right now, homie.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, couldn't think of a better person to bring in the new year. With especially on Valentine's Day. I guess we'll kind of kick it off since the last time we spoke, which was probably mid last year.
Yeah, that checks out. I would. Was it 2020? Has it been that long?
No. 21, right?
I think.
So it's probably like middle last year.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, I think the last time we talked, real estate was a bit of a mess, and unfortunately, all I can say is it's gotten a little wilder.
So what's going on? So I guess we'll start in Denver, and then if you want to touch on anything national, like jump into anything national, but it like at one point it felt like things were cooling off a little bit. It felt like things were kind of coming off. Maybe a little bit easier to buy. Maybe prices are kind of leveling, but that doesn't seem to really be the case. From what I've heard from a lot of people.
So no, I mean you're right on all accounts. So from the get-go last year, things were nuts. Like the moment we decided who our president was, like the market just took off like crazy, to the point where we're like everyone got nervous, and we started thinking about like, okay, this has got to be like the prelude to some kind of weird bubble, like who knows? And then took a step back, and then we realized like, okay, the real reason that things are so competitive now is just because I think it's kind of a combination of Wall Street and just huge hedge funds like not having confidence in what the market will do for them, and so they're just dumping their money into harder assets like property, vacant land, water rights, things like that. And so it's kind of a crazy statistic, but in 2021, 25% of the single-family home purchases were purchased by an LLC or a business, like not a family who
designed to be a second house or an income property,
exactly.
Or rental property.
Yeah. Then like when you think about like the magnitude of that, like that's really what's kind of, at least I personally think, driving prices up. Also, I mean, combined with sort of like the perfect storm of just low inventory from whether it's people that just don't want to go back to work and are collecting unemployment. The government certainly made that very attractive for them. They're just printing money at this point, but also people just realizing that we've got kind of a whole different quality of life now. Like as far as I know, this week is kind of weird. Like our liberties have been restored. For the moment, but
for now,
yeah, exactly.
Some places,
exactly. And so that's kind of the thing. Of just like, but we realize it's like they can turn that off like a switch, and so
it has been done. So
yes, so people are still like, I mean, it was a great like sort of psychological audit for the market, in the sense that we started to realize like, okay, if the rules can be changed at any time, like let's give ourselves as much freedom as possible, at least to the degree of like, let's make our living situation really comfortable. But also people just don't necessarily want to go back to the office. I mean, I personally love to do the face-to-face thing. I mean, it feels so much more natural to just like actually go and meet with someone and shake their hand. Yeah. But I mean, at least like some of my friends who are like financial advisors and things like that. I mean, they manage clients in Dubai from like an RV, like touring the country as they speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the crazy part is you can almost now do your work from wherever. I know some companies are having different credits for working in different states, different income levels, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that I guess kind of the next point is the migration of people and where people are moving to and why they're moving there. And I think that, to what you said earlier, shows a lot of what people expect out of that state. Like you had a lot of people going from New York to Florida. You had a lot of people going from California to Texas. You had a lot of people, moving to states that somewhat had a consistent message throughout this whole thing and not getting like super political on it. But, at the end of the day, it is now, playing a big role in our lives and what we can do and not do. And it's sad that it has to get to that point. But, it just is what it is. So like with that being said, we are probably continuing to see somewhat of an influx here in Colorado from people all over the place. I know we briefly talked about it last time from New York, from California. Is that still like a big factor? Or does it seem like everybody kind of found out where they want to be and they're kind of like settling in?
Oh no, it's absolutely a factor. People are. I mean, I remember. When did we get here? I was 2006. Maybe you were 2007.
Yeah, it was like 2007, 2008.
Yeah, and so like I think. I mean, at least our decisions were like a microcosm. You came from Ohio. I came from New York, and then we just both realized we're like, Colorado's sick. Why wouldn't we stay? And then all of a sudden, other people just started, making the same kind of realization when there was lockdowns and things like that, and businesses were getting closed and everything crazy, and then like let's just use like LA for an example. When like the average person realized that there was huge homeless issues and things like that, things were just exponentially more expensive, and they found out that it was like, okay, if I have to homeschool my kid, why wouldn't I do it in somewhere pretty that lets me go outside,
more consistent weather,
and then here we are, and I think people's confidence has been really shaken by some of the policies, just like some of the rules that can be
like you said, light switched. I mean, like
all
of a sudden, like we were getting stuff that on this date this is going to happen, on this date this is going to happen, on this date this is going to happen. So
yeah,
and it's like kind of crazy.
And with none of our consent either. It's like
well, yeah, right, 100%.
Yeah, and so like I think that's really like the motivating factor is people want some kind of surety of, it's like if this is par for the course, then we want to be able to go, like we want to be able to at least exist as comfortably as possible. And Denver and places like Nashville, Austin, Tampa, even Alabama, like
crazy.
Yeah, like their the entire country's market is blowing up and like very aggressively, and just because their interest rates are so low still, even though they are rising, people are starting to realize it's just like got to get in now while the getting's good, and then the notion that if you want to be in control of your life, in control of your settings, then you've got to go like to other places where they'll give you a bit more of like a fair shot, whether it's like red state, blue state. Again, not as you said, not to get
purple
like political.
Tree,
yeah, purple tree. Yeah. We're just guessing. Yeah. I have no idea, and also it could change on a dime because certain people will migrate in certain areas and whatever.
Yeah, bound to influence what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that you just brought up a good point. Is it now people that, or what is like the overall mindset? Is everybody trying to think like there's no more trying to time this thing out? I just need to get a place now. Am I going to wait on the sidelines to, hopefully interest rates kind of stay where they're at, but inventory kind of increases? Like what's kind of the consensus of everybody overall? Is it like still pretty segmented? Like you have your group of individuals that can't afford what they really want, so they're going to wait. You have your group of individuals that can buy two of what they want, so they do. Like, is it still kind of a healthy mix of everything?
Yeah, it's a bit all over the board, I would say, depending on which sort of like demographic and like fiscal capability that they all have. But what I would say is as far as like I don't know, your average like single family, parents and either one kid and another one on the way or something like that, and to when they need just like a slightly larger home, then I would say that it's them realizing that if interest rates go up even like a quarter of a percentage, like then that's $100,000 like disparity in the life over the life of the loan, and that's so they're just like thinking like, okay, if we get stuck here and the market changes, which it inevitably will in some states, but Colorado's way better off, I should say, than others.
I mean, it's almost getting to a point here in Colorado where investment properties aren't worth it because you can't charge the amount of rent that you need to cover the mortgage. Or have you seen that at all? Or like, what's your kind of take on that? Like,
so I would have said,
or opposite.
Unfortunately, the opposite.
Is it?
Because people, so due to that situation I mentioned to you a moment ago, about 25% of the country being bought up by LLCs or just purchased under the notion of being investment properties. We're starting to look down like a pretty scary street in the sense of places being like the whole country could be at this rate if we continue at this level, just completely like corporately owned. And so like if you and like almost every property be like purchased and rented out, and so the idea of the terms being dictated by not just the ambitious person who wants 2 or 3 properties and wants to set up a better life for them and their family or something like that, but like a massive corporate entity who's buying literally hundreds at a time, like every day in multiple states.
Sorry, finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with that in mind, it's like the worst case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen, but because I think legislation will keep it in check. But what I'm worried about is the notion that if there isn't some kind of interference about like the amount of property that a company can buy, that it could turn into some sort like a completely like it's tough to find a word for it. I was going to say like not a social state, but like a completely rent-controlled state,
right.
but almost on like dictatorial terms.
Right, based on a company's perspective or what company's basis.
Yeah. So imagine the situation, like imagine if the Rockefellers, and Carnegies and things like that from years gone by. Then you've got somebody who just imagine if 3 companies owned all of the houses in the United States, and just like, and they're competing against each other. Like their bottom line is their bottom line, and they can just charge whatever they want for rent because you have no choice because they own the land and the properties. Yeah.
Well, wasn't that somewhat? And correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that somewhat of a failed experiment by like Redfin and Zillow? Like, didn't they go in and try and purchase a bunch of houses, rebuild them, flip them? But now they're still kind of keeping a handful of them to Airbnb. Like, isn't there kind of like somewhat of a movement that like companies like that have already been making?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point. In their case, the reason they bombed is because their business model was wildly impractical. So what they would do is they would try so let's talk about Zillow for 2 seconds. Like they would buy a house for cash, seems super enticing, even though just because usually people like who work with them are kind of desperate and they need to sell in a certain time. So it's like, okay, automatic cash offer, even though it could be slightly lower, but what they're really trying to do is get oil. Yeah.
2 seconds. Is that just because they're so transactional? Like they just need to like pump numbers through, and that's why they're just trying to like flip, quick flips.
So, by the way, I wanted to correct my statement. I was like, so data being the new oil,
right? Fair enough.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
gotcha.
So really, what they want is they want pops. They they want your interest. They want to know who's out there so they can sell leads. So what they'll do is they'll make a trash investment. They'll buy a house and then like basically not change it whatsoever. Maybe carpet, paint the walls, whatever, and then put it back on the market within 2 months. Take the financial hit on that, but also leave it available, because even though like in their minds, if they leave it on the market, then at least it's getting clicks and people are like just like viewing it, and then they get to sell the data to, or what,
sell the leads or sell like the traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for
on like similar houses. Yeah.
Exactly. For astronomical prices. And so like in some zip codes, it just like, even if they've like wildly like impractically priced it, like they're still going to get a shit ton of money for per lead. Like I think in our zip code, like some leads are like thousands of dollars, but like for one, yeah, because that's what they think the return will be.
Yeah, I mean, and I think like just kind of relate it back to a little bit what I do with the insurance stuff. Like, I think it's very similar in the aspect that there's a lot of companies out there just doing data mining, and that's I've made an investment in one new platform to try and get more numbers and figure out cost of living within that household and all that kind of stuff. And it's super interesting. But to your point, like, even if you're willing to take a trash investment to gain 50 leads off of it, and then resell it as a similar house, a lead with a similar value, there's tons of money in that, and people are willing to pay thousands of bucks even if you buying the leads break even.
Well, and it's unfortunately it's become a situation where they've priced it so poorly because they buy it and they put it back on the market so quickly that it can't appreciate for that price, and so they put themselves in a hole because they've done it on such a huge scale with such bad policies, just like just such terrible renos that they've they're in a real pickle.
Yeah, now they're upside down on a bunch of land.
Yeah. Yo, but by the way, talk to me about your insurance game. Like, we watched the Super Bowl last night, America, for those who are listening. Yeah. And he just told me that he's expanding to homeowners insurance. Was that what you said?
Yeah, I got homeowners now, so super excited about that. Just I just got approved. All my background checks and just passed for Lemonade, which is an insurance company. Their motto was mainly based on providing like 1-minute quotes and a lot of online based stuff, but they're running all their homeowners, renters insurance through agents. All their auto stuff is still through like an app. Like you can get a car insurance on an app. Super cost effective for them, obviously, and then it obviously trickles down to the client. So it's very affordable rates for a lot of people. But yeah, Travelers has a really good product for homeowners and renters. Lemonade, I'm interested to see how they start doing. So I'm excited about that. I got onboarding calls in a couple weeks, and the insurance game is a game at that. It's fun to learn, but it's a hustle.
That's what I've heard. And by the way,
very transactional.
Yeah. as it turns out, I've heard that before. And by the way, America, thirst trap. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to unanimously do business with this guy. As far
my man.
At least, yeah. At least for home insurance, like where I know
where your
my
game's
exactly.
Your lane.
Otherwise, it was like auto casualty, all the other things. So just like ask him questions. He's a good guy, I think.
RV insurance, motorcycle,
yeah.
We kind of do it all.
Yeah.
But that it is super interesting because I guess this kind of ties into the real estate stuff as well with everything that's been going on. Like, let's just say it, climate change with the fires, with the different temperatures now, and snowfall totals are all different. Like insurance, we got emails at the beginning of the year saying everything's going up by like a couple points. Is that something that's similar? Like, what are people changing their minds when it comes to buying a house in Colorado? Is it still like, do they still want to be in a neighborhood? Do they want to make sure that it's fireproof roofing or all this kind of stuff? I don't know what the codes are, so I'm sure some of that's built in, but are people getting more specific and more picky about the protection of their home versus, the location, or is it still kind of where it's been always, and it's just kind of another episode that something has happened?
I specifically haven't gotten like a bunch of feedback about that, but I will say like I've heard a couple like really like worried people in like two areas. I mean, after like that recent like Boulder fire we had, like that was
which
like
was
apocalyptic.
insane. Yeah.
A friend of mine said that like her house was across the street from a place that was on fire, and somehow it was spared. But like the idea that could happen in like midwinter, like that's a very different situation than we're used to.
Very scary.
Yeah, and also like areas like to those who are not familiar with Colorado, the area between Colorado Springs and Denver, there's a portion called Black Forest, and that gets super dry, and they've got some pretty strict like fire codes as far as like the distance you need to like cut off like tree branches and things like that to make sure that things don't like pines don't like fall on your roof and accumulate and become a fire hazard and stuff like that. But I just feel bad for the state of California, bro. Like
getting
I was just like
murked
in every way,
in every single way.
yeah.
Whether it's like, I mean, naturally, unnaturally, politically,
Well,
they're just getting housed.
Yes, yeah, and
Which is rough, and it doesn't seem like my brother lives there, South California, Southern California, and it's like not like it's getting any cheaper. Like I feel like everything's still like holding up. I mean, maybe that just shows the demand there, but it just seems like things are still holding up. But it also seems like a lot of people are leaving.
And to the also. Shout out to Big Bro. Miss him. He helped us find this wonderful residence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I didn't even see this place. It was you and Pete.
Yeah. That was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, very. I went to go. I think I told you this. I went to go pick up the keys from the lady. She's like, "Oh, what do you think about the place?" And I was like, "I'm actually pretty excited to get the keys to go check it out."
That's a more and more like that's a practical conversation that happens now.
Yeah, I was gonna say now it probably happens almost every time.
Oh yeah. Now it's just like most people are like, I mean. At least 25% of the time.
That's insane.
Oh man, just got a brain fart. Hold on.
Southern California talking about the mass exodus, but prices still kind of remain the same.
Yeah, so Southern California is starting to notice that they've got some issues, and so rather than making it more attractive to stay, they're penalizing some of their citizens by having an exit tax.
I heard about that. Did that ever happen?
I think it still might be in the works, but I just know
it's like a lifetime couple points pay until you die sort of thing, right?
I don't know. Like right now, I thought I've got a client who's moving out here from Catalina. The wine mixer.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Wine mixer. You sell helicopters there, right? Wait, what was that movie?
Step Brothers. Yeah. So, from what I understand, this is like when I heard about like how much money she stands to walk away with from this whole process to move out to Colorado to be with her daughter. It sounds like almost like extortive. Like I can't believe it. And like if you were to sell this spot and then move to, I don't know, Iowa, it would be an entirely different situation.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. But things are changing rapidly over there, and it's a bummer that they kind of ruined that paradise because
it's an awesome spot.
Yeah,
used to be.
Yeah,
still is, but it's just another thing to navigate.
I personally hope they go broke so I can buy a place in Santa Barbara one day.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll be your neighbor. We could get a good spot going.
Let's do it.
Coming back to Colorado, taking a look at, I know we kind of talked about some of the neighborhoods that were popping off last time. I don't know if it's any different, any better, anything has changed, but I know you've been doing a lot of work south of town.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still kind of the spot where most people are going? I'm sure you can see like more people are trying to get more land, a little bit more square footage, just based on, not home restrictions, but like now more working, living, everything out of home. Is like what's going to happen this year?
Well, my sense is like if you can get, at least while interest rates are low, what I've noticed is it's children fucking dictate the whole pace of the market. And if we're really getting down to it, it's anytime somebody has a kid or wants to start a family, they move further and further out of the city. Or if they're fiscally capable, then they get something enormous in the city. Like, you know, but
there's people there.
Yeah. A few of our friends are starting the process. But I would say specifically, it kind of works like a donut in the sense that like this is just a micro example. It doesn't apply to every situation, of course. But I would say like somebody wants to have 3 kids. Baby number 1, it's like a bachelor, or like a like a recently engaged couple in the city. Then like they're living like where we are, where everything's close, like lots of bars, restaurants, like fun stuff to do during
good scene, a lot of activities,
totally
tons of room for activities.
Yeah, tons of room for activities. But then like baby number 1, they're like schools aren't exactly the way I want them. The classes aren't like the right size, like the teacher to student ratio or whatever. So they'll go down to somewhere like DTC, like that kind of area. And then baby number 2, they're like, all right, this house is getting full. Let's go to Castle Rock. And then baby number 3, wilderness, straight wilderness,
straight to the mountains.
Yeah, there's like just like wherever Wi-Fi is, or like wherever there's a paved road, and there's like
paved road's optional at this point.
Yeah. But if you build it, they will come.
Yes, 100%. What? So up by I'm blanking on it. So if you go up I-70, you take like one of the first couple exits as soon as you like get to the top of the hill of the Front Range, make a left off the highway. There's a golf course back there.
Genesee Park?
Maybe. I thought
America, I'm the most inept person with directions. So
yeah, there's a reason I'm asking him. Yeah, because I'm completely blanking. Yeah. But to your point, like a lot of people are starting to move up into these like close to mountain towns where you can still get back to Denver in 45 minutes for a meeting, but they're now definitely living in a more remote spots, especially here in Colorado. I think maybe it's unique here, but
so I got a wild story for you, man. So I had these clients that were very well compensated. And we were looking in Golden like persistently, and these were 2 of my best friends from middle school. We went to they specifically wanted to buy in Golden. So perhaps that's what you're.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Well, just north of Golden.
Okay.
Like kind of just a little bit. So like what is it like Golden Morrison? And then
Morrison South, but like either way,
fine,
I would say
Evergreen.
No. That's even further south. That's but it's not even that bad there. But like
this is bad.
No, yeah. You know what? That's the reason. Yeah, bro. I don't know insurance. That's why you got me here. And so
that's true.
But specifically, specifically Golden. I would say is like an aspen in the making. It's a baby aspen, but like I walk around town, and I was just like, everyone's all like Lululemon out for
That's kind of crazy because didn't Golden used to be like somewhat of an industrial style?
Yeah,
I guess very educated though town.
I mean, yeah, School of Mines is there, but but like very much like they've got like a very relaxed zoning codes, so you could be in a house and have a bar next to you, and then also like someone could work on their car and be blasting speed metal until like 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and
the
police would be like, no, we're not doing it.
Is that a case of just Boulder overflowing?
Yes, I would say so, because Boulder's, I don't know, San Francisco Jr.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of landlocked too with all their. I mean they're very strict with their ordinance of where you cannot build.
Yeah, and then it became so attractive and so interesting. I think
so quickly too.
Yes, yeah,
fairly quickly.
I mean, people's always liked it there, and it's always been an interesting place. But I'll just say like real money arrived in like the last like 5 years. But like now, I just anytime someone's like, I want to check out Boulder, and be like, how happy will $1 million make you? Like, and I'm just like, because otherwise I was like, I don't know what kind of house you'll end up in for $1 million in Boulder.
Not a very big one, because I remember even to your like what you were just saying, even in the past 5 years, like Google's moved in, made a big footprint there.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of companies that are like similar stature that are just coming into that neighborhood, buying up tons of land. Not tons, I shouldn't say tons. That's all unfair, but buying up plots of land, leveling it, and building these big, big office buildings that are now vacant. But they were very much going through a very developmental phase over the past couple of years. When I started there working for a marketing company in 2012, till now, it's almost unrecognizable because of the development that's happened there. It's a lot of money just moving in a very short period of time.
I mean, as much as it pains me to say so, it's like the place is beautiful.
It's awesome. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a different world, though. Like, to your point, like,
yeah,
it's San Francisco.
Yeah, like a little like it's a San Francisco island in the middle of Colorado, but
this is only two people's judgments. Don't take anything we say for not granted. Don't take anything we say for facts. Go check it out. It's beautiful.
Also, I bombed my SATs. Don't take anything I say like about that like too seriously
at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I barely got into college. Like, well, I'm a good realtor, but yeah, no, I'm a.
Yeah, you asked me to start doing numbers. I'm not going to, but if you need a marketing campaign or insurance, I got you.
That's weird. Okay, yeah, I remember. I think we did one or two together, and
we did.
It was Turns out this guy's fucking knows what he's doing.
Couple things here. And there.
Yeah, as it were. Well, it's kind of crazy. So, a little bit more. I'm into real estate. I remember talking with you like a couple of days like before I put this house on the market. And we didn't even have time to do like the proper video that we wanted. I remember saying like, oh, like this place is in Castle Rock. For anybody who's watching out of state, it's kind of what it sounds like. There's got a huge rock in the middle of the town that looks like a castle. Would have been really pretty.
Beautiful area though.
Yeah, exactly. And so I remember telling Andrew, I was just like, oh my God, this is like, dude, the drone footage could be so cool. Let's market the whole thing. And I didn't even have time to schedule that. All I did was like get a couple of photos, put it online or on our MLS system, and then we got 16 offers in 36 hours. And I was gonna say like, I don't really know how we're gonna make this like a productive thing because it's too late.
We're already too gone.
Yeah. It was outrageous, and like people were like basically like forming a line around the block, standing in the cold in the snow, to come through and take a look at it. And it is a very average house.
I remember because I think you posted it on Instagram, and I was like, damn, like, well, I was kind of curious why it flipped so quick, like. I mean, I remember you called me. It was earlier that week. You called me like, "Hey, man, let's do the shoot this weekend or this day." And I was like sick. I had to go pick up like a new set of microphones. Mm-hmm. Picked them up, and by the time I like checked out, you're like, "Yeah, man, it already sold." It's like, damn, that was quick as shit.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely thirsty, like ridiculous. So I don't know, but I mean, as attractive as the sell side is, the buy side is fucking brutal,
it's just
man.
Insane.
Yeah, like. I remember, so I've got an offer floating tonight, and we're coming at a place like 40,000 over asking, and I remember the agent being like semi unimpressed, and I was like, "Yo, once upon a time, like I sold you this place at asking, at asking," and then, but like now, I was just like I'm perplexed. I was like, how can somebody like realize that somebody's taking like all their equity out of their other house and then putting it on the line, letting you live there for free for a month, and then be like, meh, and like I don't. And so I
It's
would
totally fine. Just you know, you can stay here for a little bit. You know, just let me buy it. I'll rent it back to you for a month or two until things kind of smooth over. We'll be good.
Yeah, and I mean, fortunately enough, like there's, if you try again, like, you know, just persistence will like push it through, and everything will be okay. Like you eventually can end up with the house that you absolutely want. But there's definitely a standard adjustment that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I think that was like what you said earlier was insane. Like we were talking before this, and you were like, like even the agent was like, "Yeah, this simply isn't going to work," and don't even come to me with something that's not even close to this number.
Yeah, and so I'd say, like, to that point, like, you know, pick your agents carefully. Make sure that they have a really, really specific plan for you, because it's shooting from the hip, like, that definitely doesn't work anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't. I feel like you can't really fake it anymore.
No.
Like I believe there was a time where, like, you know, everybody's son or daughter was becoming a real estate agent, and like there was their first time, and you know, you were like, oh yeah, just give it to them. It's a quick paycheck for them. You got to get away with it. But now I feel like it's very strategic and very sales oriented. Like you have to like very much navigate the environment.
Yeah, you know, and I wish it wasn't as jumpy as it was, but like it's still manageable. But I would say that, I mean, there's 10% of us that do 90% of the business, and you know, it's in the reverse. 90% of us do 10% of the business, unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
So if unless you've got a really specific plan, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend just becoming a realtor out of nowhere.
Right. So what if you had to pick like 2022? We're in February, just starting out, halfway through the month. What's your bold prediction for the year, like for the real estate market in Colorado? Is there a neighborhood? Is there, you know, interest rates are going to do something, inventory is going to do something, the banks are going to fill in, the banks are going to do like, what's your outlandish bold prediction when you look back in December and say, damn, like I actually was right on that. Like what do you think it's going to be?
I would say, man, like it's I think it's going to get pretty choppy for the first 6 months, just because interest rates are still great, but there's the promise of like the inevitable other shoe has to drop. Like we've been printing money and letting people from like Buffalo Wild Wings make $4,400 a month. And yeah, so it's like eventually it's like we need that money back, and so like we
got to come back sometime.
Yeah, interest rates got to go up, and to a point that I think might be like exponential, because I don't know. I mean, macro politics is something that can sometimes be a little bit lost on me, but I've got a dad and a brother who are both very high level economists, and the pardon the expression, the devil's gonna get his pound of flesh. Like we've got to pay back what we did, because like this is impossible.
Yeah, it's somewhat unsustainable over a very long period of time,
yeah.
even a short period of time.
Yeah, indeed. And so I think and at that point, it's gonna put a lot of people out in the cold. And so I would say, just if you're thinking about buying a house, make sure you get somewhere to live where you're in control, rather than having a landlord who can completely dictate the terms as they like, and unfortunately they'll dance to his tune. But yeah, talk to me about insurance now, dude. So this was the last step. I remember you were talking about, it was like home, everything except home, but it was like auto, like 3 other things, but now like, yeah, it was just like absolute. Yeah, I think I said it earlier.
Yeah,
absolutely use this guy. I'm gonna use this guy.
Colorado only right now, but looking to expand into other states. Yeah, so for me, home is the last kind of puzzle piece that I didn't really have until a couple months ago. It's the insurance world is very interesting. is very like number oriented, very like you have to hit these targets to continue your, I don't know the best other way to put it besides like membership to these agents or to these companies, insurance companies. But the restrictions were very high when it came to homeowners insurance. For instance, nationwide, you have to carry $1 million worth of policies in a year, in a fiscal year. Progressive was a similar policy where you had to have $1 million worth of coverage. And someone who's starting out,
so they're only on your side if you have $1 million.
Yeah, they're simply
is on your side for $1 million.
Yeah, if you're rich. Yeah. So it was like tough. It's been super interesting to learn about it and navigate it, and it's very excited to be in the space. I think I'm gonna do a lot of things with it. Still doing the insurance stuff. I leave tomorrow for a couple weeks. So still doing a lot of stuff on the marketing side of things, but yeah, the insurance thing is definitely something kind of like in the back burner that I'm still like I think is going to be a long-term play, and I think it's going to be super interesting.
Dude, well, I mean, if it's any attest to your marketing, I would say, you're going to nail it.
Sometimes you just have to do it.
Yeah, man. Well, where's the next step though? I was just like, I got to say one thing about your Instagram, man. Every time, I try to guess what city you're off to, I think I miss 100% of the time.
It's funny you say that. So I started doing the quiz thing. I think I don't know, middle of last year or something. And I was like, I was just trying to find creative ways for people to engage, just from a marketing perspective. Just trying to test new concept, test things, and figure out what's cool and what's working, what doesn't work. I started doing it a month ago. I was like, hey, I started doing it 6-7 months ago. I was like, hey, I'll give this a try for a couple months. And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I didn't do it for 1 or 2 posts. And 6 people came after me. They're like, dude, where'd the quizzes go? It's I get these wrong every time, but where'd they go? And I was like,
that's how I like to start my mornings.
Yeah, exactly.
Just with the wrong answer about where you're headed next. Just is you on a plane, and then I'm like Seattle, Miami, or Boston, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna throw a grenade out there. Seattle, and I'm just like, no,
Miami,
you blew it.
Yeah, toast. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't know. Some people really, I shouldn't say really enjoy it, but some people enjoy doing it. So I think it's pretty fun, and it's a cool way to talk to people too. And some people I haven't talked in a while, so great conversation, talking point, starting point.
Yeah, man. I don't mind being wrong first thing in the morning, man. It gets me going. I was just I was like, I should ask more questions.
Yeah, I probably should figure out where it's going before I answer this.
Yeah,
but it's funny you say that. There was one. Someone was like, yeah, I literally get this wrong every single time. It's I don't know how to do this. I was like, well, it's even I was working with her at a place, and she was like, yeah, I still got it wrong. I was like, no, I'm gonna see you in a couple days. I don't know why or how you got this wrong.
It's the Ginger Ninja, America.
Watch out, coming to a city near you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll know when he gets there.
Yeah, there'll be an Instagram post about it. No big deal. Well, Will, crushing real estate, absolutely doing well. Positive, somewhat of a positive outlook on the year to come. Obviously, probably, like you said, a little bit raising interest rates. Inventory's probably going to stay similar. People are still going to be moving. Still going to be hustling and bustling as a bold move. Our bold quote of the day. Yeah, I mean, I think about anything else you want to say about what we got going on.
Well, I think things are going to get better. Then they might get a little rough for a little while. But bottom line is, if you're living in Colorado, you made the right play. If you're living in New York, rough. Things might get a little bit complicated, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic, man. All things said and done.
Yeah.
Also, you've been murdering in the gym recently.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Been a lot of big weights, heavy lifting them up, putting them back down.
Attaboy.
Awesome. Well, appreciate everybody for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Make sure you click that subscribe down low, notifications. More episodes coming soon. Make sure to leave us a follow. We're on Anchor. We're on YouTube, Instagram. Working on a couple other things. Should be a lot of fun. Hope everybody has a wonderful day whenever this comes out. Keep an eye out for the next episode. Will Schneider, thank you very much. Excited to have you. Happy Valentine's Day. You're not going to be watching this today, but whenever you do, I hope you had a wonderful day.
All right. Always great to be here, man.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day, America.
Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. Sick.